Hello and welcome to another live of styled components. We are learning how to use styled components with React. Let me know if you can hear my voice properly and then we can start moving. We have a lot of things to do today. I have an amazing lesson planned and I'm sure you guys will love it. You pop out the chat. Can you hear me? Is the question. Yes, we can hear. Cool. Sudarshan, Vikrant, hello everyone. Thank you for joining the live. So today I have planned the lesson for to learn this. But before we move ahead, I need a note volunteer. Who is going to be the note volunteer for today? I need only one person. What this person needs to do is whenever I go to a link, ask me to put that link in the chat and then update it here in comments. So I need a note volunteer for this lesson. Who would be the note volunteer? Please nominate yourself, one person, and then we can move ahead. And your job would be to listen to what I am saying, but make sure that I don't miss any link to be posted in chat and posted here, and you post it here. Okay. No one? Is there someone who's? I can be the one. Vikrant is on. So okay, Vikrant, you are the note volunteer for today. So, and your name goes into the lesson plan so that if you miss something, people will come contact you. Okay. so let's get started. This is the issue, by the way. This is where I'll be posting. You have to post the URLs. So this is what we are doing. Before we start this session, know that if you don't know React and CSS, this lesson would not be helpful. So that's definitely needed. Then chapter 1 of this series, yesterday we did it. If you have not watched it, it won't be helpful. This 40-minute session is very much required to go to do it before this session. So if you have not done 1 or 2, then maybe watch this session later. Ask only relevant questions is what I would say. So today's plan is to understand extension and theming. We'll go around extension, why we need it, all how we can structure our app and all of those things. Then we'll get into theming. Theming is something which is very serious. A lot of actually front-end developers complain that their UI doesn't look as good as some other UI. There are two options. Either your UI doesn't look good or your UI looks like every other UI because you have used the same components to build your UI. So every UI is looking like a copy of Bootstrap, right? So either of the two happens. So we'll talk about how to theme properly, why theme helps, why what are the things which you can do, and then so this is a general understanding around how themes work. And then we'll look into styled components theme provider. We'll do some examples. We'll then do a time check. I want to do a hard cap at 7:45, max 7:50. But if we have time to do it, then we'll do a dark theme toggle coding wherein we will have something like how YouTube has or anybody else today has. You toggle between the dark and light theme, and your entire theme changes around it. Okay, so that's the plan. Let's get into it. Is there anything in chat? No, nothing in chat. Okay, so first thing is extension. One thing is why you need it. So let me show this to you. So we were here yesterday and I have created another live for this. So we were here. I am just putting this in the chat so that Vikrant can update it there, and here it is. And you guys, if you want to follow along, you can follow along as well. So what we did yesterday was, let me do a quick revision. We created a button component, and then we made button primary, button I am primary. So you see this is a primary button. This is nothing button. It's a plain button actually. So why by extension, what I mean is, so this is one way of extending functionality. The other way, but with this, wherever you want a primary button, you have to say button and then you have to say primary. okay, but there could be, you can make a component primary button which would take everything which button has and also has its own values like the background and color, and you don't have to pass the prop for it. This way what you can do is you can create your own component library, wherein if you go to say bootstrap, uh, 1 second. So if you go to bootstrap.css, bootstrap, and then you see there are different libraries around it, different buttons, components. So you go to buttons, you see there are different buttons. So you have button primary, button secondary. So you can have these components defined for you, or you can have a prop based thing. That's totally on you. But suppose you want to do something in a card wherein you want to have everything in a card, and then you want different kinds of card around it, card without image, card with image. So there will be times when you want to extend the base functionality like how you do in CSS, and at those times I think knowing how to extend would help. One thing which I want to also tell you is understand that styled components, it's no magic. It's basically, it takes a button component. Like what it does is it takes say a button, and in the class name it compiles all of this in a class and put that class here. That's all it does. So it's basically applying the style on a DOM component. So you can create via primary, or you can extend it. So we'll do that. Just checking the chat again. Close the file section. It would be easy to see the code. What file section? Oh no, I need that. That's why I have opened it. But I can zoom in if you guys have a problem. This is to zoom. If you guys have a problem, I can zoom in. But yeah. So so let's do some extension. So first of all, there was a question in comment yesterday saying that how do we structure this entire thing, right? So one way to do it is, you don't want to have a button here in your app, you want to keep it somewhere else. So what you can do is you can take this entire thing and then move it to a new file, and then just like that it's moved to a new file, and then you can save all of it. Oh, this doesn't have the anyway. So you can actually have your own component library like this. So you have a button, and then you have a button here, and so suppose you want to do, so what I would do if I have to do this is I would create like a components folder, and inside that folder I'll put button, and I'll hope that it reflects in app.js, which it does not. So this should break. So I'll just put components and then button, and this will work. Let's hope. Yeah, it works. It's a primary button, it's a blah button. Now suppose I want to make a success button. Okay, in that case what I need to do is I need to extend this button, and to extend this button what you need to do is you need to create a new file called success button, and in the success button you don't need a lot of things. All you need is export. This button is exported, you need to import it in success button, and so you need to import button from button. I think you would not need anything else. Let's see. So all you need to do is getting started, extending styles, and then you need to just say that hey, this is a new button, success button, wherein the color is different. So let's break it first. So this is like kind of a TDD which we are going to do. We'll say import. There are no tests, but I'm just naming it TDD, but we'll break it and then we'll make it working from component slash. So a better way to do it would have been that I had an index.js file inside components, and then from there I export everything, but maybe we can do that code cleanup later. So it says success button is not declared, but its value is never read. But if I save it, it will give an error saying hey, there's no success button. So export const success button. See, it's giving no button defined. So I'll say okay, there is this. I will say, hey, the success button is not defined, and this is how you actually do TDD sometimes. So what you do is you define a success button. And how do you define a success button? You say export const button, success button equals, I'm sorry, I'm little styled dot button, and if I do this, it should start working. It should start working. It says styled is not defined. That's fine. Let's copy this because you need this. We don't need the CSS part, but it says button is declared, but its value is never read. That's fine. Now see, your style button is here and it's working, so all your file is working. It says success button is not being used. No problem. Let's use the success button. I am a success button, and let's do this. So let's see if there's something on the chat. Close the file section. What is normally preferred best practice? CSS, JS, get dev, but the internet performance issues since all the compo gets rendered in a single file. JS at build it. Guru, we talked about this yesterday actually. See the previous session around it. Kaise ho sir? Idris, I'm good yaar. Let's keep the chats little minimum. We are running on a tight clock. So if you see now, right, you have a success button, but the problem with this button is it's not success. So first thing which we are not doing is we are not extending the button. So if you want to do that, we just need to do this, say styled, and then this styled can take a component inside. All we need to do is we say styled, and instead of dot button we could say styled button, and this should work. Now see, this is now a success button, but the problem is still there is no success in it. Success is not there in the button, so we want to have some success. So if you want to have some success, what will we do? We'll just override the color. Let's see what the colors are. Color, let me see color from here. Colors, text primary. Where are the colors defined? PG primary, no, colors, just want this green color, but looks like I can't have it. So let me just check this up. This is the color. So I want a success button like bootstrap. I like that color. So all I have to do now is background color, this one, and see, this is a success button now. All other thing which I want to do is, because it's so green, I want the text to be white. And that's how you extended it, and now you have components, and you have buttons, and you have success button, and that you can create different buttons, and wherever you want to use, you can directly use success button, or you could have used button success, depending on your choice. But if you are extending it some, like there would be some more functionality here, like a badge inside a button. It's like if you want to do a badge button and then you wanted to pass badge to it, then it's hard to do it on the button. It should not be done on the button, because it's not just the CSS which you are extending, it's also the functionality. So whenever you have to extend a functionality, maybe then you should do an extension. So the homework for you is, like a classic teacher, I would do the easy stuff and give you the hard work to do. So the homework for you is create a badge button, and you know what a badge button is, right? So a button with a badge, basically badges. So you have badges like this. You see this notifications for. Create a badge button wherein you can pass, and I'll tell you how. This is like a question for you. You should have something like badge button, and whatever badge badge equals like this. You say 4, it should render a badge button with 4. That's your homework. Let's see some chat. Difference between export default and export const. This is the simple difference is if I do export default, then I don't have to do this. So basically when you are exporting, right, you export something like a module, and inside the module you have this. So this is an object which you are exporting, and that's why when you are importing, you do a destructuring of the object. But when you do a default, you don't have to do destructuring like this. Import React. There's no destructuring needed. That's what it is. Cool. Any more questions? No more question. Multiple named export per module, but only default export. Yeah, that's also right. I went into the inner workings, forgot to tell you about the basic things. So yeah, custom components, all of this. Let's get into theming. What's the time? 7:20. We have 20 more minutes. So I think we'll just cover the theming part, and then we'll code the dark mode later, maybe tomorrow or some other time whenever we get the time. So here is what I want to talk about theming specifically, because where is my note? Yeah. So understand that theming is very important, because otherwise what you will do is you will create one button somewhere and another button somewhere else, and then you will have inconsistent space. Some button will have 4 pixel as padding, some button will have 10 pixel as padding, some button will have a different green color, some button will have a different blue color, and that's how your UI looks bad, because it's not evenly spaced. It's not, the fonts are not even, so the beauty is in following a pattern. And if you see, do I have it here? No. So I would say if you're serious about designing and creating like good websites, maybe read through this. This is actually a very good resource. I don't want you to read everything, but if you are interested around things, maybe read how they think about typography, the type system, how they think about colors, what are primary color, the color system, how to think about dark themes and what works, what does not work. So it's a good read to have, how to think about layout and the density and all of this. But what I'm trying to say is, when you are designing a website or a web app for yourself, have some tokens at least of these things. Like I would say, if you're defining a website or a web app, I would say like have like a simple theme, say const theme variable, no matter how you define it, whether it's a JavaScript thing or what. So have like a constant theme variable where you define your padding or your PD4. Not like this. You define your PD4 and then say this is 4 pixel. Same way you have your PD8, and you define your 8 pixel, and then you define say your primary color. What's your primary color? Say this green color is what we really liked about it, so I'd say this is my primary color, say for an example. So I would say, hey, this is my primary color. I could say primary color. And so having a consistent design, comma, so writing between CSS and JS. So something like this. Then whenever you create a button, you can always access these colors. Primary, maybe we can say BG color, or primary color is fine. And then you can say your white. So your white would be not too white or whatever, like say you can define something, or text color. So this is not something which you should do like live, which I'm doing right now. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you have consistent spacing of say 4 pixel, 8 pixel, and then you have your font size like font small, and this would be say 16 pixel, and then you have a font LG or font medium, which is say 18 pixel. These are numbers which I'm not making up. These are some numbers which people in typography know. Or say font LG, which is say your 22 pixel, or 32 pixel, which is the double of your thing. So that now anywhere you use a large font, you will always use 32 pixel, medium 18, and small 16 pixels. So these are your theme tokens which you should define. This is very important to understand if you're designing your own website. This is very important. Let's see if there's something in chat. Should we give quotes for the values? Quotes. Yeah, these are quotes, right? So I didn't get your question. So this is how you define your theme tokens. Now you have defined your theme tokens, right? Now you want to say use it in your button styling or somewhere else. Like I would say now this looks inconsistent because I have 3 colors, 3 buttons. I should have say only 2, or I should have like proper font sizing on everything. And I want to create a large button which would have a large font. So wherever I create a large button, now this will be an exercise in, see, these are the things which I do wherein I start struggling because I have not practiced this, and then I'll do it on the go. So we'll create a large button, but we'll use theme this time. So what we'll do is we'll say large button.js, and large button will extend the button. So we will also practice extending. So let's copy some code from here. Command C, Command V, large button. It's still the same button, so it's not large. So now we want to have like a large button here, large button. For now this will just have text, I am large, and then large button. What's the problem? This is not imported enough. Okay, import large button from components / large button. And so now you have a large button, but this is not large, right? So what you want to do is you want to make it large. And how do you make it large? You want to use theme. So now understand this, all right? You want this theme, which is defined at one place in your say app.js file, to be accessible everywhere. So one way to do it would be to pass a prop, and pass a prop here and say font size equals theme dot font LG, right? Now this way it will go to font size, and then yesterday we saw, right, how to use the props, and then you can use the props here as font LG, and then it will become props. So suppose we want to do this. Let me copy this, and not the success button, the large button, and we have props dot, what's the prop? I forgot about the prop. Font size. Okay, so props dot font size, and CSS background light yellow. We don't want this. We want what do we want? Am I extending button? Shit, what did I do? So sorry. So if I do, that's why I'm thinking, why is it not changing? So I want to go to large button, and then I have it here, font size, and now you need CSS again, comma. This is just to show you an example. This is not what we are going to do. Now see, this becomes, but we don't want this. We want to say font size as props dot font size. Is it becoming large? No. Why? Okay. Font is theme dot font large, font size. This should go font large is 32 pixel, which is, this is definitely not 30 pixel. font.lg, large button, props font size. Let's see if someone else has idea. Didn't give quotes in styles.button. Why only in theme? I'm referring to those making your own portfolio thing. So why do you forget standards such as body, header, etc.? What? Body, header? No. Should we give quotes for the values? You didn't give quotes in the styles.button. Where? What did I miss? What did I miss? Styles.button. It's there. It's working. Success button. Let's close this. We don't need this. App.js. Is this what you are saying? But this will go as a string itself. So if I have to props.font size, this is coming here, but it's not rendering. Just remove the quotes. It's saying it's should theme be defined before the file. Could be. I don't think so, but that would be a problem. Yeah, but that could be. Yes, it's a hoisting issue maybe, but then this is giving error there. It should still, it's not the problem solved. Theme.font.lg is theme.font.lg. This is 32 pixel, which is a string which should go in the large button, and props.font size should come. Maybe if I change it to font size, and I don't know, this should not be the problem, but that's what happens when you start trying something. Props.font size. No, font size is not the problem. This is something else. Should theme be right style? What is right style? Your comments are not helping. Shit yaar, I got stuck. Anyway, so the problem is we don't have a font size. So what if you want to do a large button ke jagah pe we want to do something else? But this is, what is this? Props style button props. Maybe because when you extend you don't have. Maybe I got it. The problem is that this is going as a string, so you need to pass it as like font props.font sc. Yes, so this is a string, right? This is one problem with CSS and JS, that your highlighting is a problem, and then you forget sometimes this. So shouldn't the first. This is done. Can we do console log? This is done. Yeah. So this was the problem. So you see, this is a large button now. Now see the problem. What the problem which you have here is, in the app.js file. It's very convenient to have a theme and then inside the theme, because all of it is here itself, right? I don't have to go somewhere else. It's all the components are here. But in a big app, you will have different components inside different components. So accessing this theme would be little difficult. So what can you do? So there is something called context in React, wherein you can pass things directly as a prop without passing it as a prop. Like if your parent ka parent, or so what is it's called, its ancestor. If any of your ancestor has is wrapped into a provider, then you can consume it in the tree anywhere else in the DOM tree basically. So that's what theme provider does. Let's see the time, 7:32. We have time. Cool. So they have made all of this like this. So they have like a theme provider which you can pass the theme variable, and then you have a theme provider which just closes the provider, and then you can access the theme variable anywhere as props.theme.main. So we'll just refactor this our entire code once more. Hope it will work this time. And then we'll see how the theme provider works. So first thing first, we need theme provider from styled components, right? If I am not wrong. No. Where they don't even import things. It's very hard. So let's say import themed provider or theme provider, I don't know, provider from style components. Yeah, now what it says it's declared, value is never used, no problem, we'll use the value very soon. Theme provider, yeah, just checking. So now if I wrap this entire app into a theme provider and I pass theme as theme, sorry, and theme provider. So now you have a theme provider, but we are not using the theme provider theme, we are still passing this as a prop. So instead of, now you don't need to pass it as prop. Any and all theme variables are now accessible to you here via props.theme.font size, right? That's the theme variable, right? Font sm font lg, command C, font lg, and then you have props.c, this is props.theme.font lg, and this is large again. Wow, claps. This is very basic thing, but still. So this is how you can use a theme provider. Now the good thing about this is all of these variables, if you want to do consistent padding across all your buttons, you want to, like in this case, you want like more padding. So whatever the padding is, say your button padding is 0.5 rem. Actually, we should use rem rather than pixel. I just use it for now, but yeah, this is the right way to do it. So if you want to do like more padding in large buttons, you can just pass it, say, let's do it actually. Let's make it right, 0.5 rem, which is 8 pixel because I think the font size is 16 pixel, and then you have 1 rem. So you say PDSM, then you have PDMD, and we can do, so these are just my tokens. I'm not like, it's not like all the right things, but so say you have PD large as 2 rem, and now I want this to have more padding, more space around it. I can do that here. I can go to here and say padding as, ideally I should check for the theme thing, but I'm not checking it. props.theme.padding lg, no, pdlg is what we did, right? Yeah, see, so you got the padding again. So this is very easy, right? You don't have to pass each and everything again and again, and you can access. That's how context works. Time check 7:36. So we can't code the entire thing. In the AND, shouldn't the first value be boolean? Purva, should in the AND condition, maybe. So there is, I meant PD4 is 8 pixel, not PD4 is 8 pixel. Anyway, so so this is how your theming works. What I want to tell you about this entire exercise was that this is how you can do CSS in React, which I feel is quite easy to do because now you have proper components. Go through the documentations. We can do a coding session around how to do, we can have a toggle button wherein if you toggle it should like something like this actually. Something like this wherein you have all of this, but I wanted to do it in like 40 minutes and not extend it too big. So we'll do a third session and we'll do the coding, but it's pretty simple actually. If you think about it, all you need is another set of theme, maybe a dark theme, and then toggle that from the provider so that it reflects inside. And because you are doing CSS in JS, it's all handled inside the JavaScript itself. Questions? No questions? No questions? Cool. So is it not like refreshing? No, it's there. Cool. So that's it for today. We'll do maybe another 30 minute session wherein we code. But remember the homework, create some buttons. See, the best way to do CSS is, good, one thing more I want to talk about, I'll talk about it. The best way to do more CSS is you create more components so that you get your hands dirty. One thing which I want to talk about is color wheel. Understand this is, so suppose you are choosing a foreground and a background color. If you want to create stress on something, if your background color is, say, what color is this? This is pink, then purple. I don't know. So what I do is if my background color is say this, I choose exactly 180-degree opposite color, so it creates good contrast. Same way, if you create this, if your background is this, then the text should be this. If your text is this, if your background is this, then text should be this. And that way you will see that your buttons are more beautiful. It looks more appeasing to the eyes. It becomes a nice primary button. So that's just why I opened it and kept it, so that we can talk about it a little bit. And that's it for today's session. Let me just post this. This is already there, no? Live 2 is there. That's your homework. Thank you for joining. I see there are no questions in the chat. So let's meet soon. I'm not sure when, but we'll meet soon. Bye.